a couple of little tidbits on what might be planned. This is one where also I think it maybe was a little bit complicated because of the Bills being likely to be at home in the playoffs, or so we thought before the season or into the season, and now it's likely that they won't be. Think about it from the Jet players, too. I don't know how they would feel, but it's a little bit special. Jets haven't won here in 6 years. So, I mean, that team is in such disarray. I'm not sure. Unless Tyrod Taylor is on the field, I think he probably would be, right? Active or not. He's somebody that would have memories, of course, of the place. That's Mitch Morse, by the way. 803-0550. I want to make sure, and we don't have a show on Thursday either. I mean, Friday is game preview day and drive at 5, picks and everything like that. I want to make sure we give adequate time and thought to the this being the end of the stadium, going back from 1973. I certainly have a lot of memories there. In the more recent part of my life, it's mostly work-related, but even before that, many times out as a kid. I mean, the 79 opener, I was 7. I was there with my parents' friends. And I have no idea how that dynamic worked, but it was my parents' friends and me. 3 of us, like a 7-year-old. But high school years, high school, college, it was like a big deal to get home for games, playoff games, all of it. It was probably the most important thing in my life would have been going there and experiencing Bills games. And that's not lost on me when here we are about 30 some years after that, seeing it come to an end. Let's go to Gerald here. Hi, Gerald.
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
I'm good.
So my first football game was opening day 1986 against the Jets.
Yeah.
And I almost think that was Jim Kelly's rookie season too, but I'm not positive.
It was.
On that one. But anyway, the Jets won that game. So I guess this is bookends for me because I'm going Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, that was Kelly's first game as a Bill. Bright sunshine, shootout. It was a loss, but as I watched it, a rare home game where the blackout was lifted at, I guess I would have been 14. I mean, I just felt great about it. The Bills had, I'm growing up 8, 9, 10 years old. The Bills they get good, and they have a couple of close calls in the playoffs. Like it was, I didn't grow up like Bulldog did several years earlier, watching them mostly lose all the time. Like it didn't start that way for me. But then it got that way. Mid-'80s, it was the worst. But when Kelly ran through the tunnel, even though they went 4-12 that year, it did start to turn up. And then by 88, they're in the AFC Championship. So the 80s overall were fun. And then the 90s were epic for the Bills. Like I don't need to tell you. Let's go to Ed next. Hello, Ed.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
It's funny you said blackout. Can you believe how times have changed?
Yeah, I know.
Games being blacked out way back then. That's crazy. Hey, what do you think about picking up Trayvon Diggs? You know, that defense for the Bills, I think, has been their Achilles heel in the playoffs. Somebody seems to get hurt every playoff game. I don't think you can have enough defense. I know the offense is struggling right now, but I feel like they'll figure that out.
Well, he's just about the worst graded defensive back in the NFL. So I think I will pass on this one. Thanks, Ed. Tony is next. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Mike. I just talking about the stadium.
Yeah.
I was at the first game ever. It was a preseason game against Vince Lombardi and the Redskins.
Oh,
and,
wow.
They took the opening kickoff to the house. That's how we started the stadium. Just wanted to drop that tidbit. Thanks.
Wallace Francis.
Wallace Francis, yep.
That's right, isn't it? I never thought about that being Lombardi.
Yes, he was. First game ever in our stadium.
73 Washington. All right, cool. Thanks, Tony. I never thought about that being Lombardi. It's before my time a little bit. I remember I'm not sure I would have remembered Washington, but I remember the name of the guy and that happened in a preseason game. I never linked that with Lombardi, though. That's pretty cool. I have many varied memories of the stadium. Not all of them are fond. Like, One unfortunate bathroom incident that I can still remember. Nothing involving other people, but just not knowing exactly where to go as a kid, if you will. Hope that makes sense. And then having it be explained to me at the end that I wasn't wasn't going where I should have been going. So there's that. I announced a high school game there. That was a big thrill at the time, doing PA for a Grand Island sectionals game. They gave each, I'm not sure if they don't still do this or haven't still done it this way over the years. They would give the public address announcer for each school one half. And so I got to do a half. There was a foot pedal, probably very different now. I know it is, because now you just yell third down and there's really nothing else to it. But in those days, you had to press your foot pedal down to speak, and that was just like the best. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm doing this at, Rich Stadium. And I think it was the same weekend where after the game or after the first half, my job was done. We two friends of mine piled in one of his car and went to Foxborough for the Bills-Patriots the next day. I want to say that was November of '89. Let's go to Pete next. Hi, Pete.
Hey, Mike. Yeah,
Hi.
just calling about being at the first game. I will be at the game Sunday, so that's kind of cool for me. But the first game, some people may remember there was a huge traffic jam. People really didn't know what it was going to be like to get out there. And the stadium was half full when the ball was kicked off. And I literally sat down in my seat when the ball was kicked off, and it was Herb Mulkey for the Redskins that returned the kickoff for a touchdown.
Oh, okay. So Washington did it. What's Wallace Francis? Is that the regular season?
Wallace Francis, yeah, he was on the Bills
Yeah.
at that time, pretty sure, yeah.
Did he maybe do the same thing in the regular season opener?
Could have been.
Okay. So it's Mulkey
Yeah.
for Washington in the preseason game.
Yes.
Okay.
Herb Mulkey.
Yes.
So, anyway, a lot of great memories out there. Kelly's first game and
Yeah.
tailgating, just a lot of fun.
Thanks, Pete. I'm trying to decide what my favorite day out there would have been. Maybe it's the '88 Jets. Fandemonium, getting on the field, ripping the net away from this other guy after the game was over, 9-6. That might have been my number one. I didn't love everything about doing that. I was pressured into doing it. And, okay, well, there are 8 of us and 7 guys are rushing down to the field. I probably should go with them. Is that what Mom would tell me to do? Leave your vagrant friends to their, whatever, their crimes and sit alone in the end zone, or go with them. I went. 90 playoffs, Miami, 91, both playoff games, 95, 94, 95, just going to a night game by myself for the first time in 93, Monday night against Houston. That was really my prime for going to the stadium. Let's go to Jim next. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
I got a couple stories. I was 16 when the stadium opened. I told my mother I'm getting season tickets, and she thought maybe it wasn't a good idea that I do it by myself. So she got one with me, and all these years later, I'm going to be going Sunday with my 40-year-old son and my 19-year-old grandson, and the memories are pretty amazing. That game you went to is where Tom Dempsey missed a field goal that continued Miami's streak to 19 games at that point.
Right.
But I remember first concert I went to there was Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the James Gang, and this group that nobody ever heard of called Lynyrd Skynyrd. That was in '74. And, the memories, I remember in 1990 when Frank Reich was filling in for Kelly and they beat Miami to win the division. They tore the goalpost down, and I'm walking down Abbott Road, and there's about 50 guys at the goalpost. And they walked into a tree, and they kept on walking. The goalpost bent in half and broke, and they off in different directions with their pieces of the goalpost. Just great memories. Winning the 51-3 game, I think, is one of the all-time classics. I remember the first Monday night game in '73, where OJ went over 1,000 yards in game number 7 against Kansas City. With still had Bobby Bell and Jim Lynch and Len Dawson. All the legends were still on that team. Going through the years, just going there with my kids, my grandkids. My daughter's first game, she was 3 years old. She fell asleep under the seat. That was Jim Harbaugh's game for Indianapolis, and second biggest comeback in Bills history was that game. That's probably like '94.
I was at that.
And that was something. And when, then one thing to consider when I go to the game Sunday, I'll be thinking of my mother, but the Super Bowl is on her 105th birthday, and I think that's a good vibe. So,
all right,
if they ever win it, I'm going over to Holy Cross Cemetery, and I'm going to put a pennant on her grave.
Have a great time Sunday, Jim. Very good. I'm looking at the box from that Bills-Chiefs game in '73 you mentioned, and it's funny, like in the OJ years, there are several games like this where there are just no stats at all until you get to him. Pete Beathard, Kansas City, 6 for 23, 73, 2 sacks. Len Dawson, 2 for 6, 26, 2 interceptions. No passing, rushing. Ed Podolak, 7 for 29. Joe Ferguson, 6 for 11, 63, and a pick. Receiving, Bob Chandler, 3 for 35, 0. O.J. Simpson, 39 for 157 and 2. Like, there was one guy on that field. Nobody else could get 2 yards in this game for either team. There are a lot of Bills games like that in those years. Thanks again, Jim. Mike Schopp here.